No gold, no chariots, no pyramids tonight. Just a tunnel, a torch, and you, breathing in the ancient dark. You are not a god king. You do not feast beside the Nile. You are a worker, cutter, a soul with sand in your teeth. You carve eternity for others, and no one remembers your name. The great pharaohs, they sleep beneath the desert. Kings of the Nile, their legends still survive. But what is your name? What was your life? You will never know. No sprawling palaces, no purple robes, no treasures tonight. It's just calloused hands, a copper tool in you, bleeding into the stone. You are not a pharaoh. You do not rule the living or the dead. You are a servant, a grinder, a body bent beneath the sun.
Oh.
You build monuments for others. No one remembers your name. The great pharaohs, they sleep beneath the desert. Kings of the Nile, their legends still survive. But what is your name? What was your life? We will never know. No feasting, no dancing, no celebration tonight. Just a canteen of stale water, a meager fire, and you, waiting for the dawn. You are not an immortal. Cannot cheat the grave. You are mortal. A toiler. Your bones will turn to dust. You seek a wage to live another day. You carve a king's legacy. And no one remembers your name. The great pharaohs, they sleep beneath the desert. Kings of the Nile, their legends still survive. What is your name? What was your life? We will never know. You're in the belly of the beast, where the hot winds moan, where the shadows grow long. And lean, where the whisper of the desert, it seems to say your name. But when the sun bleeds red across the sky, and the desert wind begins to rise, carrying the scent of 1,000,000 dead men, will anyone remember your name? You are not a legend. You are not a myth. You are a man. It's a hammer in your hand, a slave to the burning sun, a nameless soul. The great pharaohs, they sleep beneath the desert. Kings of the Nile, their legends still survive. But what is your name? What was your life? We'll never know. Ancient Egypt lasted for thousands of years, shaping the lands along the Nile into a powerful empire of innovation and ambition. But how did its people shape the world around them? What were their accomplishments, innovations, and creations? Let's find out. In this series, we examine the legacy of ancient Egyptian civilization, their groundbreaking innovations, their contributions to science, and their many accomplishments that changed history. Join us as we uncover the secrets of this lost world and explore the incredible legacy of ancient Egypt. First, let's talk about being a builder. Sounds like a solid career choice, right? Well, yes, if you're building tree houses, if you're building pyramids, it sucks. For starters, you wake up early. Not in a palace, but in Deir el-Medina, the village of tomb builders. Men, women, and children live crowded into mud brick houses. Life is tough, but it's sacred work. And every sunrise brings another chance to carve your name into history. Well, maybe not your real name. It's more likely your work name, Senmut, which means sweet of face. You share it with dozens of other tomb builders. You don't want to stand out. You just want to get through the day. You start by carrying limestone blocks by hand. They weigh hundreds of pounds each. Up, down, sideways, they move the stones. Then comes the chipping. You spend weeks on a single wall, chipping away at limestone until it fits together perfectly. You breathe in the dust until it coats your lungs. Every block you chip, every level you raise, is another curse you invite. The gods are watching. The overseers are watching. And everyone knows there are tomb curses, rumors of lost treasures, vengeful spirits, and restless kings. You can't afford a mistake. If you mess up, the tomb is ruined. Your supervisor loses face. You lose your fingers. You're paid in grain, onions, beer. That's not much. Your family lives better than a peasant. So you make the best tomb you can, hoping that when you die, you'll be judged kindly. After all, you've carved the walls of the great pharaoh's afterlife. But your own afterlife is still uncertain. In the heat of the desert, beneath a burning sky, he was called Horemheb. To the men who served under him, he was known for his fierce heart and his lightning blade. To the enemies of Egypt, he was a phantom, appearing where he was least expected, delivering crushing victories and vanishing into the desert before they could rally. His legend grew as his victories multiplied, leading his troops against the Nubians, Kush Empire, the Hittites, and the dreaded Hyksos. His name became synonymous with victory, till one day the great pharaoh Akhenaten died. Akhenaten had been different. He turned away from the old gods, insisting that there was only one god, Aten, the sun disk. He moved the empire's capital to Amarna and demanded that everyone worship the new Aten. For 17 years, he ruled as a heretic king. Now Horemheb saw the country grow quiet as civil unrest spread like wildfire across Egypt. The old ways of life were swept away, leaving only confusion and fear. When Akhenaten died, the priests, nobles, and military leaders welcomed Horemheb to put down the rebellion and restore order. With swift moves, he erased the heretic pharaoh from history, burying him deep in the Valley of the Kings and erasing his image from temples and monuments. He then returned the old gods to their places of power and established his own dynasty. He ruled powerfully, campaigning against foreign enemies and reforming the empire's institutions. But his victories and reforms didn't bring him peace. Each night he slept uneasily, haunted by the ghosts of his past and the knowledge that even the greatest conqueror eventually becomes a whisper when the sands return. The Valley of the Kings is a graveyard of legends. Most tombs are forgotten. Only a handful bear the names of the dead within. Some have become famous, like that of Tutankhamun, the Boy King. Others are known only to archaeologists, like Kivi 55, discovered in 1907 and believed to contain the body of Akhenaten. Some tombs were never meant to be found. In the Valley of the Kings, silence hums between the cliffs. There are tombs with shafts that go nowhere, passages that twist into nothing, false doors sealed with heavy stones. Rumors swirl about secret tombs hidden from grave robbers. Some lie in plain sight, like KV-62, discovered in 1922, housing the treasures of Tutankhamun. His tomb was small, perhaps because he died young, or perhaps someone wanted to hide him. The Egyptians planned for eternity, but time always edits. Earthquakes shake the earth. Floods shift the sand. Treasure is lost and found again. Soil reclaims its own, turning pharaohs into dust. Secrets sleep beneath the cliffs, waiting for the world to listen. They lived far from the dusty work of building tombs, the fighting and pillaging of the desert. They lived in cool stone houses shaded by papyrus plants and grapevines. They were the scribes of the temple, charged with keeping the records of the gods. And though their job was quiet, their life was luxurious. Every morning they awoke before dawn, facing east toward the rising sun. They washed themselves with water brought from the Nile and dressed in fine linen clothes. They braided their beards and put on perfumes made of cinnamon and myrrh. Then they took their seats cross-legged on reed mats, dipped their quills in ink and wrote. They recorded the activities of the priests, the offerings made to the gods, and the rituals that kept the empire running smoothly. Their days were filled with writing prayers, laws, lists of goods, and even curses to keep evil spirits away from the temple. Their evenings were spent reciting scriptures and sharing stories of the gods. They drank wine from golden goblets, ate dates from silver plates, and read poetry under the stars. Sometimes they led religious ceremonies, guiding worshippers in prayer and sacrifice. Other times they accompanied the priests on diplomatic missions, acting as their representatives and recording the events of their travels. They knew the secrets of the hieroglyphic script and could write on any material, clay tablets, papyrus, wood, or stone. They owned no land and had no flocks of sheep, no vineyards or orange groves. But their words carved their place in history. They were the luxury in quiet service. Some say scribes live forever because their words do. So there you have it. From the dusty tomb builders to the luxurious life of a temple scribe, ancient Egypt had many paths to walk. What surprised you the most? Did you learn something new? Share your thoughts below. We also have these amazing videos for you to watch. Don't forget to subscribe and join our community. The tomb you built is sealed. The world outside moves on. New kings, new wars, new gods. But inside these walls, your mark remains. Your hands told a story no one will read. You were not royal, you were not remembered. But in the quiet, you lasted. And that is enough. I am the keeper of this flame. I tend the eternal fire that burns for fallen kings, for forgotten queens, for those whose names have been lost to time, for those who lived and died and never even had a name, and make sure their stories are not forgotten. This tomb was made by the last king. He ruled over this land with an iron fist. He kept his people in line with whips and with walls. But he wasn't always like that. He too was once a young man full of dreams, full of hope. He too had a story to tell. He was born in the shadow of the citadel, a slave to the king's whims. His parents, nameless, faceless, were lost to the dungeons of the citadel. He grew up among the servants, hidden away from the prying eyes of the royal court. Then, one night, a rebellion broke out. The people of this city, tired of the king's tyranny, rose up against him. They stormed the castle, they killed the king's men, and they took the king's son, the young man, and made him their leader. And so the king's son became the king. He took the throne at the age of 20, and he ruled with a heavy heart. He led his people to victory, but at what cost? He saw the faces of the dead, the men that died under his command, and he wept. He built this tomb to hold all those memories, the pain, the sorrow, the loss. He filled it with all the riches of his kingdom, all the gold, all the jewels, all the precious stones. He lavished them upon the dead, upon the memory of the dead. But when he was old and gray, and his hair had turned to dust, he came to the end of his life. And as he lay on his deathbed, he realized that he had made a terrible mistake. He had hoarded all the riches of his kingdom, all the gold, all the jewels, all the precious stones. He had kept them away from his people. And so before he died, he made amends. He opened the treasury and let the people take all the riches, all the gold, all the jewels, all the precious stones. He gave them to the people, to their children, to their grandchildren, so that their children would remember him as a good king, as a benevolent ruler, as a friend to the people. That is why the tomb you built is filled with nothing but your memories. That is why your hands have told a story no one will ever read. You were not a king. You were not a prince. You were just a man who tried to do good. You were not remembered by the people. You were not written down in any history book. But in the quiet of this tomb you lasted, and that is enough.